love for people was just infectious. He knew the names of everybody in the community. And whilst he sort of articulated quite a set of beliefs that were very rigid, that wasn't how he behaved. So what he said and what he actually did, his actions, he was the most generous man. He would give anybody a tenner. He had people who stood with alcoholics who would sleep in the front room. He was just, he had this massive heart. And so my dad was just this incredible model of genuinely loving people. He never met anyone he didn't like. I never heard him say he didn't like someone. He just had this incredible love of God. He was brought up in a very poor environment. He had very little, but I got how rich he was. Even though he didn't have money, I got what he gave me, and I absolutely adored him. And from that, I became a nurse first of all. I've only been ordained deacon since 2001. I went into intensive care nursing, and I loved that. But then a kind of major event in my life, a tragedy just got me to rethink, and I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to throw myself in completely to this. And I love church, but I love being in the church and helping people to see that discipleship is about what we do outside, that worship just begins when we leave the church, not when we walk into it, that we enter a place of worship when we enter the world in which we all live with simply.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have to ask you, because you said it, and you don't have to go there if you don't want. You said it was a tragedy that sort of got you.
Yeah.
What kind of, what happened?
I almost died. I miscarried, and a week later, I went to the hospital. I was quite ill, but was even to my shock, collapsed completely. The doctor on duty was someone that I actually trained in the intensive care unit where I worked. So I kind of really hoped that I trained her well, because I thought, oh dear, and I actually had to be resuscitated, and I honestly thought I'd died. So a couple of days later when I woke up, I got the biggest shock, but I really felt this sense of my life being gifted back to me. So I feel like I shouldn't have the pleasure of knowing you, because I shouldn't be here. And that sense of life being a gift, I've always had a bit of it, but honestly, from that point in time, the sense in which I wake up and think, well, hey, come on, it's a new day, new people, that joy, that gratitude, it takes a lot for me to lose that. And when I lose it, I work hard at getting it back. I won't put up with not having it, because I really get what it is. And I feel that in itself is a gift.
I can sense that in you. So it pours out as you're reading. And thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you so much for taking time today. It's really lovely, and I'd follow you anywhere.
Always good to talk.
Just a couple questions for you. I would love to follow up with you in a couple months. I sense that we have some deep resonances in our kind of orientation in ministry. Could we do this again in a couple months? I'll follow up with you, and maybe we can talk more about what it would look like to do some of this stuff in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And secondly, when you heard a little bit about me, is anyone you think I should be meeting up with in the Birmingham area or in the Methodist Church? Like any names, people you think that I should meet up with?
I think you would love Simon Sutcliffe.
Simon Sutcliffe, okay.
He's been a friend of mine for years.
All right, would you be willing to e-connect us?
Absolutely.
Jason, great. And if anyone else pops in your head in the next couple of days, I'll follow up with you, but you let me know.
Sure.
Cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Eunice.
Great to meet you.
Okay. So that was a kind of artificial conversation between me and Eunice Atwood, who's a good friend of mine. And I hope you get a sense of how cool she is. But I just want to reflect just really quickly with Eunice, even in the artificiality of it. Eunice, like, how did that feel to be kind of engaging in a conversation kind of at that level? What did you notice that was different from maybe usual discourse, or anything pop out for you?
More focused.
Okay.
As joyful and as pleasant as it always is to talk to you, but it felt more focused, and it felt like you never let me off the hook. The kind of easy stuff you were going to just prod and push a little bit, but in a very gentle way. That was kind of, I didn't feel it was intrusive, but I was quite clear it wasn't kind of TNT. It was a bit more depth to it.
Okay, good. That's the hope. And so those of you who are learning to do one-to-ones, Maybe I did that okay in this dialogue. Like, yeah, you don't want to push beyond tea and cake. Excellent. We like that. That's a good mantra for your one-to-ones. Always go beyond tea and cake. And often when we were talking, and she put out there that she had had this tragedy. That's a decision you have to make in the moment as the one-to-one. Like, can I probe there or not? And it's really kind of an art and a spiritual kind of discernment about whether to push. My general rule is if someone tells you something, if they put it out there, then they have said this is fair game. Now, you still need to proceed cautiously, but that's often where the real, not that any of it's unreal, but that's where the deepest stuff can be. And I think when you heard when I asked Eunice that, we went to a very, very kind of tectonic, foundational place for who she is and what her ministry is about.
Okay. So, why do you think a one-to-one conversation is a key way of moving into the 21st century as people of faith?
It establishes a bond.
It establishes a bond, yes, a deep bond. So it builds relationships of trust in a highly skeptical world. Yeah? What else?
It allows you to collaborate with, sets the stage for collaboration at a level of spiritual depth, like what matters in the world, how do we do this together?
Yeah, I mean, how often do we listen that deeply to somebody else? And how often are we listened to deeply? So it's really a sacramental experience to have these kind of conversations. So it is incarnational again, in that sense. And if you are trying to discern what's happening in your community, this is a beautiful way to do that, right? It's actually one of the only ways to do that, if you're really curious about it. What else do I want to say about one-to-one conversations? It is an art, but everybody can do it. It's not a situation where you're having a meeting with somebody and you want to find out as much information as you can. So you're not interviewing the person, you're connecting with the person. But you're trying to go beyond tea and cake. I love that. Yeah.
Another word is you can gain as needed more intimacy with the person, which social media doesn't allow.
Yes, and particularly in this day and age, again, that kind of deep connection, when we experience it, it's holy. It's really holy. Now, as somebody like Trey, who is interested in starting a new faith community, his practice is having actually 20 of these one-to-one conversations every week. Okay? So that is, that's quite intense, isn't it? But out of those 20 one-to-one conversations, what he's able to do is he's able to then mine the gold of that. What are the themes bubbling up? What are the things that everybody seems to be saying that just surprise me? What are the gifts that people have shared that they have? What are what are their passions? What is the deep longing that wants to bubble forth? And you can get all of that through having a series of one-to-one conversations. So as a coach and a consultant to churches who want to really connect more deeply with their community but don't even know what that would look like, my suggestion is to start these one-to-one conversations in your church. We go to church with folks and maybe we sit in the same pew with them for 20 years. But do we really know them? And don't we need to build those relationships of deep trust in our communities of faith in order to trust enough that we can pivot and move into a new direction? And if we don't have that trust built, it's not going to happen. So if you can begin to have these one-to-one conversations and practice them in the church, and then you can move beyond. You can move to, well, who are the people that rent space in our church? We could have one-to-one conversations with them. Where are the schools and the nonprofits in the area? Maybe we could have one-to-one conversations with people with who could be potential partners. And then as you notice what Trey says after every one-to-one conversation, who is it that you think I need to get to know? And will you connect me? So that's how he's able to have 20 one-to-one conversations in a week. Right? But if you and your local churches said, wow, you know, we have people gifted in hospitality and they really like to, you know, there might be a little on the extroversion scale, but they also can listen deeply. What would it be like to gather those people and to train them in this practice? And then to come back together after you've had maybe 5 one-to-one conversations apiece and say, well, what did we discover? Not in the detail of, oh my gosh, I found out that, you know, Eunice has breast cancer. Not that way, but what are the themes that are bubbling up? What are the deep desires and yearnings that we are listening for? What are the ahas that we're learning in this process? So, we have, we're going to practice this right now. And here are some questions. There's also some questions in here. But what I want you to do is I want you to find somebody that you don't know very well. And I'm going to time this. So I'm going to give each of you 10 minutes. So one of you is going to be like heading the relational meeting. And then after 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you to switch roles. Okay? And you can use any of these questions here or any that are on the pieces of paper. But, you know, go beyond tea and cake. I challenge you to go beyond tea and cake. So, I'm going to let you right now find that person that you want to have the one-to-one. Anybody need to be paired up with somebody? Move around, maybe?